This is the time that was noticed and posted for our special board meeting of the Board of Supervisors. It's June 25th, 2024. It's 10 o'clock a.m. From the Board of Supervisors hearing room, Melody Lang Bisbee. Pursuant to ARS 38-431.02H, the public will have physical access to the meeting place 15 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Any item on this agenda is open for discussion and possible action. We begin with the roll call. District 1,
Crosby is here.
District 2, Supervisor English is present. District 3,
Supervisor Judd is present.
we have a complete board this morning. Members of the public may also attend this meeting by Microsoft Teams computer or mobile app, or by phone by calling 602-609-7513 or 888-680-6714. Conference ID 928-580-829#. If you have trouble accessing this meeting remotely, call 520-432-9200 for direction. The board may permit public comment during the discussion of any item on the agenda, but to speak on an agenda item, complete and return the speaker request form to the clerk of the board prior to the start of the meeting. And we have not received any forms today. Action items, we have 2, and we begin with number 1. Could I have a motion, please?
Madam
Madam
Chair,
Mahmood, we approve demands and budget amendments for operating transfers.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and it's unanimous and approved. Item number 2 with our county treasurer. Could I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt Resolution 24-09, approving the form and authorizing the executive and execution and delivery of a line of credit agreement for Cochise County between the treasurer of Cochise County and Wells Fargo Bank, ratifying all actions taken to the date with respect to the line of credit agreement.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could we have an explanation, Ms. Truitt, since we thought we had approved this for you prior?
Actually, the portion that you had approved before was the actual banking contract, the servicing contract. This is a secondary contract that allows us to borrow money to pay for warrants that do not have sufficient funds in their general ledger fund. We borrow money from the bank and only do it through that particular entity. So like say Fry Fire has written more warrants than what they've had in collections. We borrow the money from the bank for them. And then we also, as they get tax collections or revenues, we pay it back to the bank just through their general ledger. But we will never be in a situation, as long as I'm alive or treasurer, that we will be borrowing money for the county as a whole. These are for individual entities and schools that are individual accounts set up through our general ledger.
And waiting for their money to come in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I wanted that explanation for the public because I knew that we as the county don't borrow money.
No.
But as the treasurer, you offer that opportunity to school districts and special districts.
Yes, and because it is part of our servicing bank arrangement, it's part of what they contract with us for. They're just defining the terms so that we don't have to, go back and individually service these accounts as individual loans. It is one credit line that is administered by my office for each individual unit. So it's basically like almost like a credit card type situation where they're writing their warrants, which are of course guaranteed by taxation, but we make them whole, and that way we're not expending the taxpayer money to lend to them from, say, the general fund. This is actually an agreement between them and the bank.
Well, it keeps it open and above board. So
Absolutely.
everybody knows exactly what's happening.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Any good questions from board members?
Madam Trawick, what might be the maximum length of time such a loan would be applicable?
The worst case scenario is if they would go past June 30th of every fiscal year. Basically, when we borrow money on them, we've never had anybody really continue past the June 30. Because as their money comes in, we monitor it daily. So say that they get school apportionment and it's Bisbee schools and they've been in credit line for $20,000 and they have their interest. We got their apportionment. We pay the $20,000 in the interest right now. It does, it's kind of a revolving account, but we pay it off as quickly as possible because it does have interest and that becomes part of their budgetary expense. The interest part does. So we try and resolve it as quickly as possible. I don't believe that we've ever had anyone ever continue one borrowing for more than 3-4 months.
Thank you.
Ms. Judd, do you have any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Okay, then I believe that we're ready to call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Votes aye, and it's unanimous and approved. Before we leave, I need to tell you that our next meeting will be on Tuesday, July the 9th, 2024 at 10 o'clock a.m. in the Board of Supervisors hearing room for a regular board meeting. Having said that, this meeting is adjourned.